This is where it started, right here. It was some students from Oberlin College 10 years ago. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary, as a matter of fact. They decided that why not grow food here that can be eaten at Oberlin College. And so they started a couple of gardens here, and this property was commodity. It was all corn and soy, so we've got some really bad soil. But we started using vermicomposting and putting food waste back into the soil so the worms would eat it and create soil for us. And 10 years later, we have a pretty wonderful farm here in George Jones Farm. Really, it is how our society was when it was an agrarian society. That's why this is the new Agrarian Center. In our case, we have two systems that are local sustainable food systems. And George Jones Farm here, we grow food that we sell to Oberlin College, we sell to City Fresh, so we don't travel far to sell our produce to people. When you're eating food that has been in the ground just recently, it's healthier. You know, a lot of the food that we get in the grocery stores, it was picked green, it ripened on its way in a truck. It loses a lot of the nutritional value that way. Our soil is excellent, so our produce is excellent. It's healthier for people. And then when we sell to Oberlin College, we get that food waste back because this is Oberlin College property. So we use that food waste to feed our worms, who then give us soil amendments that go right back into the soil. It's this wonderful small system that doesn't involve trucks traveling across the United States or any kind of lag time between the time the produce comes out of the field and the time it gets right on people's plates. You know, there was a food conference in Cleveland in 2003, and that's where our founding executive director, Brad Massey, met with some folks, and through the OSU extension, they put their heads together, came up with the concept of bringing food from local farmers into the food deserts of the city of Cleveland. They went for a grant, they didn't get it. Finally, in 2005, they got a USDA grant for a pilot program where they set up at Clark and 25th Street, the very first City Fresh stop. They went down south here about a half hour, bought some, to feed a larger group, we're going to need a bigger farm than what we have here at the George Jones Farm. Bought some produce from some Amish farmers who use natural farming methods, took it to this fresh stop, and started the model of charging people for 1 week, just a 1 week CSA, where they pay a certain amount for a family share or a single share. Next week, come and pick up that share of the harvest. 233 times people picked up shares of that harvest that first year. And last year, our 5th year of City Fresh, in 3 counties now, Cuyahoga, Summit, and Lorain, we distributed over 18,000 shares of local fresh produce. And those Amish farmers down south in Homerville, close to us here, we gave them over $140,000 in income. So this is another system that the food is grown close. It's sold here in the inner city food deserts as well as some of the suburbs, because our system works where if you can afford to pay full price, you do, and if you can't, we give you a break in the price, and the people who can afford to pay full price are actually subsidizing the people who can't. So it's this wonderful self-contained system where not only are people getting great, excellent fresh produce, they're also participating in social justice. They're making sure that the folks who live in the food deserts, who only have the options of fast food or corner store food, they get the option of local food that's affordable. And there has been a study done in 2007 where they looked at particularly low-income folks who participated in City Fresh, and they did some pre-testing of how many fruits and vegetables they consumed, and then post-testing at the end of the City Fresh season. Huge difference between what was consumed before and after. We're helping people change the way they eat. And in the food deserts where they don't have the opportunity, you know, you're not going to take a bus with a couple of kids and go to a grocery store. That's just not going to happen. So we bring the groceries to them. Well, again, Brad Massey, who was the founding director of the NAC, he now has founded Neo Food Web, and on that website we're using that as our video portal. Anything that we document through videotape, classes we've done. For example, we just did a wonderful class in something called IMOs, Indigenous Microorganisms, where in that class we learned how to take the good bacteria that's in our soil and create abundance of it so that we could put it back in our soil and it'll make our harvest even more plentiful. Those classes are on the Neo Food Web. So we're taking advantage of that opportunity to share what we do through the video of social media. It's wonderful. Everybody who works at the farm is an apprentice. We have the Oberlin College pays for a couple of students to work here full time. They live in a farmhouse we have on the other side of our property in the summer and work here full time, and in many cases learn that they don't really want to be farmers. However, they have a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to learn all about sustainable agriculture. So everyone who works at the farm, whether they're an Oberlin College student, a Lorain Community College student, or a local high school student, everyone's thought of as an apprentice. And we don't just hand tasks to people. We explain what we're doing, we empower them to make decisions, and circle back around to make sure that the task has been completed. Lorain Community College is beginning a Certificate of Sustainable Agriculture program this fall, and this farm will be the site of a number of their classes, and the students who are taking those classes will also do their literal field work right here, which is wonderful for us and wonderful for them as well, because it isn't just theoretical. They're absolutely going to get hands-on education of sustainable agriculture. So we consider ourselves educators as much as we are farmers. Our farm operations manager actually has a master's degree in education, environmental education, and she works really hard at educating while she's also working with folks. Plus we have a program called Garden Camp, which is for anyone who has finished 2nd through 5th grade. We have 3 sessions in the summer. It's a typical day camp from 9 till 3, and kids get a chance to work in the field. They get a chance to do crafts. We've got wetlands here that Oberlin College actually also does a lot of experimenting on. We've got a forest of maple trees. Last year the kids found some salamanders, which in this day and age is like a miracle. Very exciting stuff. So we also, basically, we educate kids from age 7 to the older adults who are here as volunteers.